Hey YouTube, so I'm coming at you guys with a video. This video is going to talk about how to get over your ex, your baby daddy, your situationship, any dead relationship that's been holding you back. I'm going to basically give you all my tips and what worked for me when I decided that I was finally ready to move on. I think the first thing that you have to do is honestly be ready to move on. You can't be in a situation where you're going to say you're going to move on and then 2 weeks later basically go right back to the same guy. Not only is that going to set yourself up for failure, but it's also going to make your support system find you hard to trust. When you say that you're tired of the mess and the BS, but you keep running back, then people are not going to take you seriously. And some of the people that are closest to you may basically distance themselves from you because they feel like they can't trust you when you say that you're ready to move on. Let's be real. If you're living with your ex-boyfriend and you're explaining that to a new guy that you're trying to talk to, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to want to take you seriously. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to feel comfortable taking the boy that you're talking to your place if you still stand with your ex. And vice versa. If you see the guy messing around with another girl, you're going to get jealous. Even if y'all are friends, it comes a time in which you all need to separate and have distance in between you so that you can move on and learn to live without each other. Once you are genuinely ready to be done with the situation, separate. So with me, I didn't live with my child's father, so separation was not that hard. I basically just stopped talking to him. When we decided to be through with each other, I did not call. I did not text. I decided to block him on social media. Everything from Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, anything that we were friends on, I blocked him because I didn't want to see him while I was still in love with him. I didn't want to see his pictures. I didn't want to see what he was doing. I didn't want to see who he was associated with. It got to the point where I even blocked family members as well. Mom, aunts, cousins, they didn't do anything, but if I really wanted to move on, I knew it would be best for me. And I only did this one time. When I wasn't ready before, you know, I wouldn't talk to the person, but I'd still be following them on social media. The other time in my past, I had a boyfriend that I really wanted to move past from, and he had really hurt me. He had cheated on me as well, and I blocked him, and it helped me move on. The whole out of sight, out of mind thing really does work. Now, I didn't have children with that ex from college, so it was easy to block that person and move on. When you've been with somebody that's hurt you, done you wrong, they cheated on you, they beat on you, they've lied to you, it's toxic, the best thing to do is to block them. If you're trying to get over your ex, but you're sitting there watching his story every day, or snooping through his Snapchat, or snooping through his Instagram, trying to see who liked what, you're never going to move on that way. If you don't have a baby together, I would suggest changing your phone number. I did not change my phone number because we have a child together. And so when you're dating a person that you don't have children with and you want to move on, of course you can just change your number, move on, move past it, no problem. But when you have a child with someone, you need to leave something open for you all to connect with each other. You can't cut off communication. Now, if it's toxic, the person's doing drugs, they're doing illegal activity, or they're flaking on your child and it's hurting your child, then yes, you can make a decision that you don't want to have contact because it's not good for the child. But if the child is wanting to spend time with their father, or if the father is wanting to spend time with their child and financially contribute, then you need to at least have each other's numbers so that you all can communicate for the child and for the child only. And it may take time to build to that. To be honest, I didn't speak to my son's father for a very long time after everything that happened. When I decided to move forward and put him on child support, he got upset about it with me. And, you know, we were both immature about the situation. So it was like, you've been doing it by yourself for the most part anyway, just do that. But even though I had moved on, you know, Josiah was happy, I wasn't happy because I know what it's like to grow up without your father. Pretty much a lot of my friends and people around me, and the patch in which my dad left because my mom and him were separated, I knew what it felt like when I didn't have my dad around. So at some point last year, I decided if he were to reach out wanting to have that relationship, I wasn't going to stop that. But at the same time, I was going to treat it like business. And if he's on child support, you're going to continue to be on child support, because that child support is not for me. It is for your baby. And regardless of if you choose to not do what you're supposed to do and pay it right now, eventually in life, that money will go to your child. So we both had to be mature about the situation. And the best thing for both of us, I think, was to take that time apart from each other, not following each other on social media, not communicating, so that he could get his life together and so that I could move on and heal and take care of my son. And we're both in better places. So getting over your ex is definitely about wanting to get over your ex. It's about wanting to separate and move on. It starts with the mental. Once you decide to make that decision and separate and move on, it gets easier day by day. Probably within 2 months or so, you won't even be feeling the hurt that you felt initially when you were all wrapped up. But if you're still having sex with your ex-boyfriend, if you're still living with your ex-boyfriend, if you're still following him on social media, you're not going to be able to move on like that, because you're still attaching your body to him. You're still attaching your life to him, because if you live together, you're still seeing each other. Please comment, rate, and subscribe to my channel. Please let me know if you'd like to see more about this topic, and I'll see you all in the next video.